Hey folks, it's Jim from the Movie Rewind, and the last video I did featured some honorable mentions for films I'm looking forward to in the year 2012. Well, today I bring you my official top 10 most anticipated films of 2012. Cogan's Trade is number 10, Andrew Dominik's first film since the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, one of the best films of the last few years. The film follows Jackie Cogan, a professional enforcer played by Brad Pitt, who investigates a heist that went down during a mob-protected poker game. With a strong setup, an excellent cast, and a director who doesn't work nearly enough, Cogan's Trade seems unavoidable. Number 9 is Seven Psychopaths. The film follows a struggling screenwriter, played by Colin Farrell, who gets caught up in his friend's kidnapping of a dog from a gangster, played by Woody Harrelson. Sam Rockwell plays the friend, while Christopher Walken plays another partner in crime. If the ridiculous concept and the cast wasn't enough to get me interested, director and writer of the dark comedy In Bruges, Martin McDonagh, is behind the film. Though I don't know if this film will have the same amount of heart as In Bruges, one hopes it has the same amount of laughs. Number 8 is the film Looper. For those that don't know, Looper follows the story of a killer who works for the mob of the future, recognizing one of his targets as his future self. The film is directed and written by Rian Johnson, a promising filmmaker who is behind such films as the teen neo-noir Brick, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and the caper film The Brothers Bloom. Looper stars Bruce Willis, hopefully in fine form, Joseph Gordon-Levitt once again, Emily Blunt, Jeff Daniels, and Paul Dano. Cool concept, great cast, and a promising filmmaker. What more do you need? Number 7 is The Master. The Master follows a charismatic leader, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, who creates a faith-based organization after World War II. Joaquin Phoenix plays a drifter and the leader's right-hand man, but he starts to question his mentor and his faith the more the organization finds a following. First off, the film is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, possibly the best filmmaker working today. Well, when he decides to work, that is. Secondly, it's his first film since There Will Be Blood 5 years ago, which was way too long ago. I love the concept, I love the cast, also starring Amy Adams, and all that is left to say is welcome back PTA, we missed you. Number 6 is Only God Forgives. Truth be told, I don't know much about this film, which is said to be released sometime this year, though filming has yet to start. The film is said to be a crime drama, or possibly a western, set in Thailand. If you're wondering why I'm so interested in a film I so vaguely know about, the reason is simple. Nicholas Winding Refn is directing with Ryan Gosling starring. These two of course work together on Drive, a film I couldn't praise enough. Now they reunite for something hopefully just as daring and as unconventional to some degree that Drive was. I always say that my favorite kind of film are genre films directed by a filmmaker who has a real voice behind the camera. Refn has that. Number 5 is Peter Jackson's The Hobbit. Don't crucify me for this, but I don't love the Lord of the Rings series. That being said, I do admire, enjoy, and respect the great cinematic achievements that they are. I'm still scratching my head as to why A Beautiful Mind beat the best of the franchise, The Fellowship of the Ring. Anyway, I've been keeping my eye on this ever since it was announced. Unfortunately, getting it made was harder than I thought regarding filmmakers, budget issues, and much more. However, this film is happening and slated for release this December, and even though I would have liked to see what director Guillermo del Toro would have done with The Hobbit, it seems only fitting that Jackson has returned to direct. Number 4 is Prometheus. Okay, so maybe Ridley Scott's latest films have been slightly disappointing or uneven, never living up entirely to their potential. Still, this is his return to sci-fi, a genre of which he changed forever. It doesn't hurt that screenwriter Damien Lindelof penned the script, feeling that there were themes and concepts not yet fully explored in the Alien series. Originally conceived as a prequel to the series, the story was rewritten as a separate one, unconnected to the original series. And that was a smart move in my opinion. Featuring an impressive cast with Ridley Scott respectfully in the director's chair, Prometheus might be the film I'm more curious about than anything. Number 3, The Avengers. Well, I'll be damned. I honestly thought this film would never happen when it was first being discussed. They even have geek favorite Joss Whedon directing the film, who has very little experience with feature films of this size. Still, it's an inspired choice, and more importantly, it might be the right one. With so many characters, the film might be short on character development, but the idea of seeing the entire Avengers team working together on the big screen is enough to get my ass in the seat. How are they going to pull this off? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. Number 2 is Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino's new film that tells the story of a slave turned bounty hunter bent on revenge on his former owner and finding his wife with the help of his mentor. Set to be a spaghetti western in America's Deep South, like Inglourious Basterds, Tarantino doesn't seem interested in making films manufactured for Academy Awards when depicting the terrible actions of mankind. Perhaps it is an issue that should be taken seriously than merely as a revenge tale, but in today's industry, we need a filmmaker with real guts and not one interested in obtaining an Academy Award. It's a sensitive matter, and I'm sure it won't change what Spike Lee thinks of Tarantino, but I personally can't wait. And by process of elimination, you probably guessed what my number one most anticipated film of 2012 is, and you're probably right. My number one is The Dark Knight Rises. The last installment of the franchise, directed by Christopher Nolan and starring Christian Bale, has a lot to live up to after the success of The Dark Knight. Usually these third installments concern me as they become far too overstuffed. Also, Nolan might be pushing the level of credibility with characters like Bane and Catwoman, but in Nolan we trust. Bound to be epic, I look forward to seeing the conclusion to the Dark Knight legend as it hopefully comes full circle since Batman Begins. Can't forget the fight of the century, Batman vs. Bane. So there you have it, folks. Those are my top 10 most anticipated films of 2012. Feel free to tell me what you're looking forward to this year as well. That's it for the Movie Rewind. Have a great day, folks. Until next time.